Let's bring in Drew Bledsoe, the former NFL quarterback, former number 1 overall pick, and was the star of episode 1 of Man in the Arena, the docuseries about Tom Brady. Did you know you were going to be the star of episode 1, Drew?
Well, I haven't seen it. I didn't know until right now that I was actually the star of that show. I thought it was about Tom Brady.
Yeah, but it's about you and the early days when you got the injury and Tom takes over and Tom becomes the Super Bowl winner. So I know you lived it, but you have no interest in watching this.
Well, I mean, no, I'm not going to not watch it, but I'm up here. I'm up making wine in Walla Walla right now, so I don't know. We'll see that. I'm sure it'll come on at some point, and I'll check it out. But no, man, it's I'm still great friends with Tommy and so proud of what he's done. But I'm pretty well versed in the story. That's not. I've actually seen the movie. I was in the middle of it, but no, I'm proud of Tommy and love everything about the kid. So I'll probably I'm sure I'll watch it at some point. But
I was wondering that you made yourself vulnerable. You made yourself available for this, but you made yourself vulnerable because you talked about you guys win the Super Bowl, and you go home. You're on the mountains. You're skiing, and all of a sudden it hits you, and you break down. Why did it hit you then?
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're in the middle of something like that, you're being a leader and you're trying to do the right thing for your team, and you just have to be strong. You have to be strong. And so I was that through all of that. And then once you get away from that and you no longer have the responsibility of being a leader for the team and wearing all of that, and that all comes off, and now you don't have to be that responsible party anymore. Now you can kind of let it sink in a little bit. So yeah, it was, it wasn't, that was a long and difficult year, but then also had a happy ending. And it just was like this most bittersweet thing ever where your team goes on and wins the championship, but you're not on the field. It was very happy for my squad and very sad for myself.
But you helped win the game against the Steelers in the AFC title game. What part of you thinks you're going to start in the Super Bowl? Because I think it was a week in between, or they didn't have the week in between, did they? Did you have the game Sunday and then Super Bowl was the following Sunday?
Yeah, the following week. It was pretty quick, and I think like Wednesday or Thursday of that week, Belichick let me know that he was going to start Tom in the Super Bowl, which that part was it's like if you're starving and somebody gives you a cracker, you haven't played all year, and now you're there, and then you get to the top of the mountain, you're in the biggest game that there is, and finally got to play a little bit and get back on the field, and next thing you know, the other guy's going back out there.
Do you have any recollection of getting hit by Mo Lewis that day?
Not really. I remember. I remember kind of laying there on the sidelines and getting up, and then I just remember, I remember going back in the game, and I mean, I certainly wasn't all there. I had a pretty serious concussion, I think, in addition to the internal stuff. But I remember turning around and asking Mark Edwards, "Hey, Mark, how do I? I knew I had to go left. Hey, Mark, how do I go left?" He goes, "Say odd." I'm like, "Oh yeah, odd." And then we ran and played left. And then he went and he and Damon Heward were the ones that ratted me out that I wasn't all there, because I went to Damon to go over our 2-minute plays, and our 2-minute plays have been the same for years. It would be like you coming into your show and asking, "Hey, which chair do I sit in?" It's kind of that kind of a simplistic thing. And so that's when they went and said, "Hey, he's not all there," and that's when they put Tommy in. And then after the game, I tried to go home. Thankfully, the doctors didn't let me do that.
But if they let you go home.
Yeah, if they let me go home, I would have died. I was bleeding out at about 1 liter an hour internally. And by the time they got me to the hospital, I was out, and they took a lot of blood out of my body. Thankfully, they were able to recycle my blood and put it back in, so they didn't have to open my chest up. But it was touch and go there for a while.
You're pretty nonchalant about this.
No, I lived. Whatever doesn't kill you, right? And No, I didn't. I mean, I didn't know how serious it was until 2 or 3 days after. So I wasn't really aware that it was really bad until a few days later.
Ever talk to Mo Lewis?
I never have. He's never sent me flowers.
How about this? A Mo Lewis wine called Internal Bleeding.
Oh God, yeah. Well, I don't know.
Is it too soon?
Yeah, it's probably too soon. Probably be too soon.
Internal Red. How about
Internal Red? Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, that actually would be that would be interesting. That'd be interesting.
What would you say if you saw Mo Lewis at one of these NFL functions?
I'd give him a hug. I don't have any animosity toward him whatsoever. And you opened this segment talking about the roughing the passer stuff. Well, back that hit was not penalized and it wasn't illegal. That was just the way that the game was played. I was heading toward out of bounds, but I wasn't out of bounds. He hit me. It was a hard hit, but it was in that day and age was a clean hit. Today it would have been a targeting call and he would have been fined $50,000 and all of that. But they've changed the game with the intent of trying to keep quarterbacks in the field. Now they've obviously gone way overboard. I mean, you run by a quarterback and look at him the wrong way and you hurt his feelings. It's 15 yards. But
do quarterbacks want this, Drew? Because Brady said this is the reason why he's able to play at 44. But do you want it as a quarterback?
I think as a fan and as a quarterback, I understand the desire and the need to protect these star players because you want them on the field, but they've gone too far with it. And I think that the hard part is I think for defenders, they have to come in and they have to be thinking about not. Because they're going as hard as they can against the strongest dudes on the planet trying to get there. And all of a sudden they get there now, when they get there now, they have to stop and pull off. And it's, so yes, they've gone too far with it. I understand the intent of what they're doing, but they've gone too far with it, in my opinion. And have just made it almost impossible to play defense in a lot of ways.
He's Drew Bledsoe, former NFL quarterback, former #1 overall pick. And I know you didn't come on to talk about your wine, but let people know about your wine that you've been.
Oh yeah, thanks, man. No, we're out here making wine in my hometown in Walla Walla. Got a kick-ass team that is doing everything. We own our own vineyards and make the wine and deliver it, and we're I think they're making some of the very best wine in the world for us. So it's been a lot of fun. It's called Doubleback. If people want to find it, doubleback.com.
Okay, if I want to sound like I know about wine. Mm-hmm. Give me some terminology here.
Yeah. So you want some really wine geeky stuff. If you have a wine and you like it, and it's like, you can just say, this is a complete wine. This has got great balance, nice structure, nice tannin, good fruit, and you can just say it's a complete wine, and the wine geeks will leave you alone because then you'll sound like you really know what you're talking about.
Complex,
complete. And yeah.
Mm-hmm. Are you better at wine or quarterbacking?
Oh man, they're very similar in a lot of ways in that, I was playing quarterback. I had a bunch of badass dudes that did the really hard work in front of me and fast guys that would go get open. And then I got to take all the credit. Right. And it's the same in this. I direct a team that just kicks ass and makes me look good.
Is Mac Jones good or just in a good situation?
Both. He's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. He's accurate, working within the framework of a good offense. But that's the deal. I mean, in the NFL, you need all of it in order to win. And he's playing very well, but he's also in a good system and on a team that looks like they're rising at the right time.
But knowing Belichick, what do you think he says to Mac Jones? Daily basis or on game day?
Jeez, I don't know, not very much. I mean, he trusts his staff to work with him. He's far from verbose when it comes to coaching up the quarterbacks, but Mac is a guy that sounds like, and they do their research. They know what they're drafting, and he's a guy that's working really hard, smart guy, doing all the little things he has to do during the week, and then game day, you start as a quarterback, you always have to start with don't make a mistake first. Don't hurt your team. And he's doing that, which is the most important part of the job. But then beyond that, he's throwing the ball accurately, getting it out of his hands. He's really doing a nice job.
But so Belichick really is not involved in quarterbacks.
At least he wasn't for the couple years that I was there. We'd meet with him, and he knows what's going on. And I know Tommy, met with him quite a bit over the years, just like early in weeks. And there'll be little things here and there, but he really lets Josh McDaniels handle that side of the world for him, so yeah, I don't think he's probably not telling him the whole time.
Yeah, I was wondering about that because if you're Brady and then you want out of there, like, can you have fun in there? Like, what constitutes having fun that maybe Tom was missing in New England?
I don't know. Well, he stayed for 20 years. Come on, can't have been that miserable.
But he was winning and winning.
And they were winning, and winning kind of cures everything. Winning's always fun. But I remember Tommy did tell me a story a few years ago. I think it was like they'd been together 17 years, something like that. And I was like, hey, Bill, is he kind of lightened up over the years? And he goes, man, there are times when like he'll walk by me in the hallway and not say hi. Like he'll just go me in the hallway. After 17 years, the most successful run of a quarterback and coach ever. And he's still kind of the same guy. He's just very focused, very business. But no, you can have fun. Come on, it's football. They had a lot of fun. And Bill actually, he can lighten up and have fun.
Everybody says that.
Chooses to. I saw him at a wine deal one time, right after we had started, and he came over and brought Bears, his assistant. They came over and they were there, sipping on some wine. He was laughing. He was joking. And I was like, man, who is this imposter? And what have they done with Belichick? Because that's not the guy I played for. But he, you get him outside of a football setting, and he actually can lighten up and have some fun.
By the way, Drew has a cab that just got 95 points. I think your cab got 95, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Those wine critics.
Oh, here we go.
Wine critics and sports writers, they're all the same.
Come on. No,
put them in a bag and beat them with a stick. I always put it this way: they've been really good to us. The critics have been, but I always feel like we deserve more. But no, the critics have been good to us, and the wine sells fast. But I just always feel like our team has done such a killer job that they need more than 95 points.
But you don't want 95 as a quarterback rating, do you?
Well, there were some times when I would have taken it. But particularly in Buffalo when it's pissing down rain and blowing sideways, if I could complete 2 or 3 passes, I felt like I was doing pretty good.
What made you want to go to Buffalo?
Well, it wasn't my choice. They traded me to Buffalo.
Yeah, but could you have said I don't want to go to Buffalo?
I could have played, hardball and just said I was going to retire or whatever, and done that. But, I think the reaction, though, it's like everybody that goes to Buffalo, I think, has a similar reaction because nobody chooses that, right? Like, oh, I don't want to be exiled to Western New York and play in the rain and all that. But then once you're there as a player, it's awesome. I loved playing there. I think most guys that end up going there end up really loving playing there. The fans are fantastic. The weather is atrocious. But it's really a cool place to play ball. It's like playing pro ball in a college town, and so it's kind of funny because I don't know how many people ever choose Buffalo as a free agent, but once you get there, it's pretty awesome.
Great to talk to you. Are you featured in any more of these episodes, or are you one and done with Tom Brady?
I truly have no idea, Dan. I really don't. My guess is probably just the one because then they move on and. But I don't know. I'll have to go check it out.
Was Brady a better beer chugger than you?
He actually was pretty fast. I was never very fast drinking beer. It was more of a slow volume game. But yeah, Brady, he could back in the day. He could shotgun a beer pretty fast.
Ross Tucker talks about Brady as an old timer.
Yeah, no, he was pretty good at that. Now, now he doesn't even drink at all. I think he has a little bit of red wine in the off season. He actually did. We couldn't ship wine to Massachusetts for a long time. And so I sent his first shipment of wine. I sent to his dad in California, and his dad drank it all. But I think he will have a glass of wine every now and then, maybe in the off season. But I don't know. I wonder when the last time was that he actually had a beer. I really have no idea.
Well, it might have been on the boat.
Yeah, it sounds like he had a lot of something when he was on the boat, but I don't know if that was beer.
Yeah, it sounds like it was tequila. Hey, great to talk to you again as always, and good luck with the cab, and thanks for joining us.
You got it, buddy. I'll come see you next time I'm in Connecticut.
Yeah, stop by. Stop by for a Meat Friday.
Okay, we'll do.
And bring wine.
We'll do.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Thank you, bud. That's Drew Bledsoe, the former NFL quarterback.